Never let anybody see you sweat.
So I was born in New York City, and I lived there until I was 8 years old. I realized that I was a much better talker than I was a listener. I don't know what to say, I just don't like what you're saying.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I ended up going to law school at Georgetown, and I was a prosecutor for Janet Reno. I loved it because it was so raw. Were you cheating on her?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All rise.
Our show will be a mixture of education, I think you're misreading the law a little bit, and entertainment. My main goal is justice and the law. That's been my legacy, and the legacy I hope to continue into the future with the show.
Jasper McClean claims his cousin attacked him at the cemetery and broke his nose while arguing over his uncle's headstone. Miles Harris says Mr. McClean smashed his dad's headstone with a hammer, and he's countersuing for $719.50.
Mr. McClean, you are suing Mr. Harris for $698, and you are counterclaiming your cousin for $719.50. Let me hear from you first, Mr. McClean.
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, my cousin here was just very aggressive with me, and he broke my nose, and it was unfounded. He gets aggressive sometimes, I think.
Okay.
What happened was...
Can you tell me? Yeah, go ahead.
I was at the burial site of my mother, and we were getting ready to figure out exactly where to bury her. And I was going there.
What kind of site is this? Whose property is it on? Is it on family property?
No, it's public, but we have our own little family area where we can bury our family.
Okay, so is it measured off, like who's where?
Yeah, we have a contract where everybody's supposed to be buried when they die, even though everybody hasn't died yet. So I was going there to see that, make sure the spot was ready for my mom who just passed and I was grieving. And he was already there for some reason. I don't know why he was there. And I guess it was by his dad's gravestone, which I didn't even know was there. And it was some huge thing that was not supposed to be there. There wasn't supposed to be such a huge gravestone in there. It was against the rules on the contract.
You go there and you see your cousin, and you notice for the first time that he has put a very tall grave marker on his dad's site, and then what?
It's also on my mom's site, his new...
How is it on your mom's site?
Because my mom's site was put in the contract where exactly what it was going to be.
How is that tall tombstone, is it wide too and on your mom's side? I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
It's big enough where it goes onto my mom's side a little bit. So the caretaker says now we can't even put my mom's gravestone where it should be because his is so much onto her site.
Okay.
And so we're gonna have to figure out a new place to put hers, which no. So,
right. So what did you do or say?
I guess I kind of lost it, because he's all my life he bugs me like.
Okay, we haven't even talked about he's not even there yet, and I'm asking you to go chronologically.
Okay.
So can you please stick to the story and tell me chronologically what happens after you talk to the caretaker and he tells you all that?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, we eventually saw him there.
Saw your cousin?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he had like his brother with him that was there, and I didn't even know they were going to be there.
Okay.
But then like I saw him, and then I saw the gravesite. I said, why you? I kind of lost my composure. I said, why you got this gravestone there? It's not where my mother's supposed to be. And he's like, oh, hey, well you can knock it down if you want. That's the only way you're going to get it moved. And so I said, okay, I'll knock it down then. I ran over to a shed. I thought maybe...
There's a shed on this.
Yes. I found a tool in there, and I came back and I started hammering on his dad's gravestone. I did. I mean,
why?
I didn't realize that I could break it as much as I could, but I did.
So you broke your uncle's gravestone?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how did you get hurt? Because you're suing for your personal injury. Tell me how you got hurt.
My cousin, he acts like he's so in control, but he's kind of mischievous, you know what I'm saying? He saw me hitting the gravestone, and he acted like he was going to try to, grab a hold of the thing, the weapon, and then get it away from me. But really, also, he was getting real aggressive. He's pushing his weight around. You know how people push their weight around? He came right at me. He bumped into me, and he grabbed a hold of the thing, and he jammed in me with his head, with his shoulder, and in my head with his shoulder. And then, we were, going back and forth. He was trying to pull the hammer away from me, and then he hit me in the nose with it and shattered my nose.
Did he actually hit you, or you're struggling for the hammer and that's how you got hit?
No, he hit me. I think it was a moment. I think he had a moment of aggression. I think he's got a problem with aggression.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, hold on one second. I'll be with you in a moment, sir. Go ahead. Finish your story, Mr. McClean.
Because he's always trying to be better than me. So,
Maybe I am.
So what happened to your nose?
The bridge of the nose was broken, the nose, and I had to they had the medical tape on it or whatever at the hospital, at the emergency room.
You had hospital bills.
They were a lot, but my insurance paid for most of it.
Right, and so your deductible was $698, and you're just suing for your deductible here. Your hospital bills are $5,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so,
He was crying like a baby, that's why.
Mr. Harris,
Yeah, so
what happened?
Your Honor, I want to apologize for wasting your time. There are little kernels of truth in what he just said, but that's not at all what happened. He was destroying my daddy's gravesite, and I simply tried to stop him. I was not aggressive. If anything, I was defensive because he was...
Let's back up a second.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
What did you say to the guy you know gets wound up because you've known him your whole life?
Perhaps it was slightly sarcastic. I said, the only way that headstone's moving is if you knock it over.
And later.
So at this point, we refuse to give them the refund because they've already, partaken in all of our stuff. But at this point also, there's women who are uncomfortable.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Jasper McClean, who was suing his cousin Miles Harris for personal injury.
Is your daddy's gravesite impinging on his mama's gravesite?
We've had a family agreement. It's more verbal handshake agreement that we would all have our plots all set out in our family site. And it's not impinging or or whatever word. It's close to it, but it's not over it.
Okay, because according to him, the caretaker said, we can't bury a person here.
Well, he did say that, and that's exactly when Jasper started losing his mind.
Right, so how did that happen? Because one would imagine that these plots would be very, very clearly, like other cemeteries don't have this problem. Right. So I'm trying to understand how you guys have this problem.
Understood. Well, it is a family plot, and people have been dying, and we've been filling it up. And his mother, my auntie.
But everybody's got their own space.
They do, but Your Honor, they're not exactly where they were set in the agreement. Everyone's off a little bit. So his mother's the last to die in the plot. God rest her soul. I love her dearly. But so her plot has been infringed upon by the
Everybody
others.
just took a little more than they were entitled to?
Thank you, Judge. I think
Is that what you're trying to say?
That's kind of what I'm saying, but it wasn't malicious, and my father's isn't on her side.
Is someone on your father's side?
My father's in it, and I.
No, I'm
sorry. I'm sorry, Judge.
Is someone...
No.
Is someone impinging on your father's site?
No.
By that I mean, does someone, go over on the site that would have been your dad's?
Understood. Now I get you. No, my father's fine.
So then just this massive headstone that you've chosen to put is what's infringing on her side?
I felt my father deserved it.
But not on her part.
Well, it's not on her plot. He thinks it just blocks it so he can't see her.
Apparently, so does the caretaker. The caretaker says that you cannot bury a human here.
He said we ran out of space for outside.
Right, but why did we run out of space?
Well,
because according to you, no one is on your dad's... Your dad has a designated space. Then why is your dad's headstone bigger than the space it should be?
Well, Your Honor, it's just because I felt he deserved it, and I wanted to get him a real big one.
But so then your headstone is on his mother's side.
I don't think so. And again, this agreement is more of a family agreement, a handshake amongst family, and it just so happens that everyone's off a little bit, and she ran out of room.
Yeah, but I'm not following, because handshakes, first of all, verbal agreements are enforceable. Let me just say that. And you're not debating that there's a verbal agreement that is exactly the spot she should be buried in. You're telling me two things, and I don't know which of them is what you mean to say or which one's true for that matter. One thing you said is that everybody took a little more than they should, so now she's squeezed out, which is ridiculous. And because I have to imagine that even at your family plot, things are pretty squared off and, all right. But the other thing you're saying is No, no one did push off on my dad's. I'm asking you if anybody took over your dad's original,
No.
And nobody's over it. So your dad has plenty of room. So your headstone should have plenty of room, and she shouldn't be squeezed out.
I agree, Your Honor. This came to our attention when the caretaker said that, hey, because y'all aren't exactly where you're supposed to be,
Okay, so then he
there's
says
not
you're
enough
going to
room.
need to move your headstone, and you say,
I say, well, I love my daddy and I love the headstone, and he gets wound up, Your Honor.
okay, what did
And
you
I-
say
and
to
I
the
said-
guy you know gets wound up
I
because you've
said,
known him your whole life?
Perhaps it was slightly sarcastic. I said, the only way that headstone's moving is if you knock it over.
Oh my gosh, you did that to your uncle's gravestone?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just say to him, well, no, it's not going to be like that. You're going to have to move it and take it to court. That's what court's for.
Your Honor, since I was a little kid, I've always had fits of anger.
Okay,
Kinda like-
you got to stop that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then how did the injury happen?
Well, he was about to take his third swing because he had already hit it, and I had had enough. Everyone, there was a few of us there. We were all taken aback. So I just tried to lightly grab it as he pulled it back and, get it out and stop the momentum. And it came a tug of war, and I didn't shove into him. He pulled it into his own face. I was simply just trying to stop the sledgehammer from hitting my dad.
He says you actually whacked him.
I know.
As to the $698, I cannot find in your favor, Mr. McClean, under the circumstances that I have in front of me. I cannot find that it is Mr. Harris's fault because I don't know what happened. And if I don't know what happened, you as the plaintiff have the burden of proving to me that it happened the way you're saying. As to your case against him, I am finding in your favor for the damage that he did to the gravestone. Now, can we save some time so that you two don't have to go to court again? And do you both agree that I can settle the issue of whether the gravestone has to be moved?
I'm willing to discuss that with you, Your
that's
Honor.
lovely.
Thank
You too, right? Because I'm saving you having to come to court again. Yes.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Yes. Okay. You're going to have to move the gravestone. And that's going to be at your cost, not at his cost. Okay? Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff owes $719.50.
He's always had a big ego, but I love him, He's always so trying to act like he's trying to beat me and everything, but I love the guy, so I hope we can still hang out as cousins,
Yeah. I love him too.
Coming up,
So the whole vibe of the Galentine's event is ruined because these uninvited guests are present.
That were welcomed by your staff.
you're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. Kelly Theo Winston claims her ladies-only Galentine celebration of Valentine's Day was ruined when the defendant's boyfriend and his buddies showed up. Chandrael Massey says the plaintiff chose to take their money and let them in.
Okay, Ms. Winston, you are suing Ms. Massey for $3,700 for interfering with your ability to make money. Tell me what happened.
That's absolutely right, Your Honor. I am an event coordinator, and I've been hosting these Galentine's events for 3 years now. This was the third one.
What was the word you used? Galentine.
Galentine's.
Okay, which means?
It's a Valentine's event for girls.
Just for women.
For gals. So yes, we're having a great time at the event. The event was from 7 to 11. And we're doing things at the event, and all of a sudden, I started getting text messages that I was a little occupied, but then I started getting text messages that there's guys at the event.
You hadn't noticed that?
I was in the back helping catering with something,
Okay.
and then I came out, and I did notice that there are guys at the event.
I presume that they paid to get in.
Right.
So there's like a front desk or something that
Yes.
clears people. Why did they let them in? It's right in the title.
I am not sure,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay.
But when I did find out, I asked them to leave, and they're saying that they want their refund. Or they're
Of
not.
course I want their refund.
So at this point, we refuse to give them the refund because they've already, partaken in all of our stuff. But at this point, also, there's women who are uncomfortable. They want
How much
to
did they pay to
leave.
get in?
$100.
Oh.
And
All right.
and then
How many men at this point are there?
About 7, 8.
Coming up,
Why is your man coming to Galentine?
I didn't invite anybody. My boyfriend did show up unannounced. He did.
You're watching Emmy-nominated Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with a dispute between Calithea Winston and Chandrell Massey for ruining her ladies-only event.
But you're suing for $3,700
Yes.
because what happened? How do you get to $3,700?
Well, there were people that RSVP'd, and now at this point, like in the middle of the event, there's like text messages blowing up. Everyone's like telling other women that we're supposed to come. There's also an event page. People are blowing up the page saying there's guys here, I don't want to come anymore. There's also women leaving saying that they want a refund. And so like the whole vibe of the Galentine's event is ruined because these uninvited guests are present.
That were welcomed by your staff, right? Who is she to this event? Why are you suing her?
We're friends. We were friends, and she was one of the RSVPs. She came to the event, and her boyfriend is the one that started all of this.
What I would like to understand is, so then he shows up, you're getting word that they're there, and have all the other men, the other 6 or 7 men, gotten there before you get word and before you walk out and see your event?
I think some of them came with him, and then maybe they invited a few others. I'm not 100% sure.
By the time you walk out, there's 7 guys.
There's about 7, 8 guys.
And you ask them to leave, and they say, okay, we'll leave, but you have to refund our money. And you say, no, I'm not refunding $700. And by saying that, you're out $3,700, and you want me to make her pay. Ms. Massey, why is your man coming to Galentine?
I didn't invite anybody. My boyfriend did show up unannounced. He did.
And is he the one who invited all the men?
He and his friend came, but they paid to get in the event. So
Yeah.
if they can't come up, why are they putting money in your hand? Like, why are they paying to get in the event?
Right.
Judge Milian's verdict when Justice for the People returns.
You can't make me pay her $3,700 because her boyfriend did something wrong. She did not do something wrong, and she's not responsible for it. But nobody's responsible for it because you are running a place where the front desk doesn't understand the meaning of the very word Galentine, and the front desk is taking money from people. So the easy solution to that is to tell them you need to leave and return their money so that they will leave, which you didn't do. So all that business loss of almost $4,000 is really on you. Verdict for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
Maybe next time she'll invite her own man and she can enjoy the festivities like we did.
Maybe next time I'll make it a Galentine's seminar.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.